This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so my voice is clear, right? You are able to hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So starting from where we closed last time, we were discussing about document splitting, right? And I told you there are three types of document splitting. Number one is active document splitting. What is number two?
Yes.
And what is number three? Number two is
Let's see.
passive, right? Passive document splitting. And number three is
ZBA clearing, I think.
zero balance
ZBA,
clearing.
yeah.
Okay. These are the three types of document splitting, out of which we understood the active one. Can you give me the example of the active document splitting? When we create an invoice, at invoice creation, our vendor line gets splitted based on what?
Cost center.
Expense line item, right? It can be profit center, it can be cost center, it can be segment, it can be business area, but based on the expense line item, whatever profit center, business area, segment you enter in the expense GL, accordingly system will split the vendor line item. And we were discussing about passive, although we were not able to see the end-to-end scenario. We will see today. What do you mean by passive? Passive's example is at the time of payment, your bank line item will get splitted based on vendor line item, which was already splitted at the time of invoice, right? So let's take an example. I will take everything once again. I will first show you the invoice. So when I go to transaction FB60 and create an invoice, what happened to this? It seems to be slow. Let me start a new session. Okay, so I'll enter the vendor number here. Let's assume this is my vendor, this is my invoice date, this is my invoice number. Okay, I will enter the amount here. Let's say 1000 is my amount, and my expense line items are two expense line items, okay, for two different profit centers. Okay, so let's say 500 expense is going to one profit center and 5 expense going to the second profit center. So what I'll do is I will select two cost centers from here, one related to Audi and second related to BMW. Okay, maybe the GL account that I took is wrong, so let me take expense GL account from more chart of accounts. Let's assume I will take the GL account related to expenses. Uh, or company code is correct or not? Yes, which GL account we are using normally for expense? Let's take this rent expense or refreshment expense. Okay, this GL is fine. So 002. Okay, so now you can see 500 belongs to one profit center, 500 belongs to another profit center, but my vendor line is only one. So if I click on simulate, it will show me one vendor line item. It will show me two expense line items. So vendor is showing 1000, but refreshment expenses are 500 for one profit center, 500 for another profit center. So if I want to split this vendor line item also into two parts for two different profit centers, what I need to do is I need to activate document splitting, which we already activated in our case, and then I need to simulate general ledger, right? You can see your vendor line item is also getting splitted based on the different profit centers, right? So which means this is called as active document splitting, when your vendor line item gets splitted according to the expense GLs. Okay, let me save this. So now system knows vendor wise how much is the balance for two different profit centers. Now when you try to make the payment of this invoice, invoice number 35 ending with 35. So if I go to transaction F-53, okay, and you can enter the date. Here you will enter the account from where you want to make the payment. So let's say I want to make the payment from this account. How much I want to pay? I want to pay the complete amount, 1000. Value date I'm entering as 1505. Okay, or yeah, 1505 2021. Account to whom I want to pay is this particular vendor. Process open items. Okay, and the invoice ending with 35. I want to deactivate all other invoices. So I'm selecting all, deactivating all, and then going to the invoice number 35 ending with 35. I don't want any discount. I'm removing this. Okay, just to avoid any confusion. And then I'm selecting this, which means I'm paying 1000. Now if you click on document simulate, again it will show you one single line of bank and one single line of vendor. If you say document simulate general ledger, see here it is showing you one line of bank and two lines of vendor. This two vendor lines are coming from the invoice. At the time of invoice creation, we have splitted the vendor line item into two parts. But still, we are not getting the desired result. What is the desired result? Desired result is this bank line item should get splitted. Because bank line item is not getting splitted, maybe the configuration is not correct. That is the reason it is not getting splitted. That is the reason system is considering the third type of document splitting. If this line item gets splitted, then this zero balance account will not come into picture at all. So why we are not able to bifurcate this, why we are not able to split this? The reason can be this GL is not properly categorized. If you remember, I told you if you want to use document splitting, each and every GL account has to be assigned to the account category. Okay, if you remember, let me come out of this. I'm not saving this. We will first solve this issue. So I'm going to transaction SPRO, IMG. Okay, and then in financial accounting, general ledger accounting. This is where the document splitting related configurations are maintained. Business transactions, document splitting, and here you have this option classify GL accounts for document splitting. If you remember, temporarily I told you to assign each and every GL account. For balance sheet accounts, we have assigned all the GL accounts as balance sheet. But actually speaking, this GL account, the bank GL account, which we are using, which is that bank GL account? Do you remember? The bank GL account that we are using. We were using, I think, this GL account, right? 2010000001, whatever GL account you are using. So if I know that this particular series starting with 2010, if I want to use this only for my bank related GLs, what I can do simply is I can tell the system that starting from this to 20100009 or 0099, all these GL accounts are related to bank, and I can assign this to the GL account category. Still 10 is missing. 2010099. Yeah, I can assign this to bank GL, cash accounts. Okay, you can see cash account. Where is cash account? You'll be able to see the cash account here. Cash discount is different.
Zero
This is also
four
cash
double triple
discount.
zero.
Yes,
Yes.
04000. This is a cash account. If I press enter, I'll get error because these GL accounts are already assigned to, the complete range is assigned to balance sheet. So you'll get an error that these GL accounts are already overlapping. So what you need to do is, first of all, you have to remove this line, or maybe you need to tell the system this is only applicable from this GL account to maybe 2010000. Okay, and then you need to enter a new line. You can say from here onwards till here, this GL account would be assigned to cash accounts. Right, so if you do the proper categorization, then only your document splitting will work. You have to assign the proper category to each and every GL account. Now let's go and try again. If I go to transaction F-53 once again, /O, I want to open a new screen. Okay, so I'll enter the date. I will directly come to the bank account. So this is my bank account which I'm using. Amount I'm paying is this much. This is a value date. This is my vendor. Okay, again clicking on process open items. I want to select all, deactivate all, and directly I'll go to the last invoice. I will remove this cash discount just to avoid any confusion. Okay, and double click. The balance is matching. Now if I go to document and simulate general ledger, you can see system is able to split the bank line item into two parts based on the vendor line items. This is called as passive document splitting. Now no zero balance, because if active and passive both will not work, then only zero balance will come into picture. Okay, if your active and passive are properly configured, then there is no question of zero balance. I will tell you the zero balance also. That is the third scenario, but I hope you understood what is active and what is passive. So active is,
Vikram.
yeah,
Yes. Vikram, please, in brief, passive.
yes, I'm again coming to it.
Okay.
Active is at the time of invoice posting, your vendor line item is getting splitted into two parts based on the expense line item. It can be 2, 3, 4, any number of line items. If you are using 10 expense line items with different profit centers, the system will automatically divide the vendor line item into 10 different parts. Is it clear now? Active is clear, very clear. Everyone, you understood what is active document splitting?
Yes.
Okay. Second is passive. Passive means at the time of payment, when you are making the payment to the vendor, okay, or I'm just giving the example. The same is applicable for AR also. So when you are receiving the payment from the customer, again the same document splitting configuration will come into the picture. So at the time of passive document splitting means at the time of payment, system will automatically split the bank line item based on the vendor line items which were divided at the time of active document splitting. Clear? Bhavan, you got the point? What is passive document splitting?
Sorry, once again. Actually, I'm little confused. Passive.
See, when you are making the payment, okay,
Yeah.
to the vendor, you want, if you want your bank also, bank GL account also should be splitted. How much amount you are paying from Audi profit center and how much amount you are paying from BMW profit center, so that at any point in time, if I want to see the balance sheet and within the balance sheet, I want to see my bank GL account, how much balance is available within Audi, how much balance is available within BMW, I can easily see that if passive document splitting works. If
Okay.
passive document splitting is not active, what will happen? You will never be able to know what is your bank balance for a particular profit center.
Okay.
Okay, so that is passive document splitting. Now the third one, let me save this first. So I'll go back. and save it. So again, when you save, it will generate a document number like a normal payment. If you go to document display, if you see the normal display, it will not show you the splitted document. You can see this is a normal display. This is not showing you from which profit center, from which uh, like it is not showing the split information. Split information will only come in general ledger view. If you click on general ledger view, it will show you 2 line items of vendor and 2 line items for bank. Okay. Now what is the third one? What is zero balance clearing account? So in any transaction, if the balance of either profit center or segment at whatever level you are activating the document splitting or the business area, if the balance of these items is not zero, zero balance account is required to ensure the balance of zero. Okay, I'll give the example. Let's assume you are transferring the expense from one cost center to another cost center. Okay, so for example, this is your expense GL account. You are debiting 100 rupees or crediting 100 rupees from cost center Audi this is minus 100 to BMW. Now tell me one thing, if I look at BMW individually, is it getting credited or debited? BMW is getting credited or debited?
Credited. It's a minus.
It credited. BMW is credited.
BMW is only getting credited. Audi is only getting debited. If I only credit BMW, will I get my balance sheet at the BMW level?
No,
If you
it
want to
should be two
generate a balance
effects.
sheet, yeah, it should be anytime. If I want to generate a balance sheet at a particular level, then definitely it cannot be only one leg. I have to bring both the legs in the posting, right? If I don't bring another leg, then there is no question of balance sheet, right? I can never generate a balance sheet at this level. So in order to make sure that it is not only crediting, it is debiting also. So what I need to do in that case is I have to bring something debit to BMW. Similarly, I need to bring something credit to Audi. Then only my posting will match. But which GL account I will bring here? So this is a zero balance account. The purpose of zero balance account is to make the balance zero. Okay, maybe I need to bring it here first. Yeah, the purpose of zero balance account is to make sure that at the profit center or at the segment or at the business area level, the balance is zero. If I'm only posting a single line without providing the corresponding debit and credit line, system will automatically derive this zero balance account, right? That is the reason the name itself is called as zero balancing account, because it is making sure that at the BMW level, both the lines are getting posted and the balance is zero, so that you can generate the balance sheet. At the Audi level also, there is a debit line, there is a credit line, ultimately the balance is zero. And if you consolidate the balance at this GL level, you can see at the company code level, it is getting plus minus. So again, at the company code level, this GL will always have a balance of zero. Right, so what we need to do in order to set up this, we need to first create this GL account as a zero balance account. If you remember, we already created in our last session. So if I take you to transaction FS00, the first thing that you need to do is you need to create a zero balance clearing account. You can see this. You have created the zero balance clearing account. And then this zero balance clearing account, you have to assign in the configuration. So if you go to the configuration node, go back from here, back, and in document splitting configuration, you can see define zero balance clearing account. So you just need to come here You have to select this standard account zero balance, and here you need to mention the account for your chart of account XYZ. You can see this is our zero balance clearing account. Okay, so this is the only configuration that you need to make for zero balancing account. Now let's try to do a transaction, same transaction what we have written here. So what I will do is I will just provide this GL account debit and credit. System will automatically determine the zero balance. Okay, let's try. So I'm going for, let's say, FB50, the normal GL posting, not AP, no AR, just a normal GL posting. 15/05/2021. This is test for zero balancing. Okay, so GL account which I want to debit is, let's say, this much. GL account which I want to credit is this much. So this is credit, this is debit. How much? Let's say 100, 500, whatever it is. Okay, and my cost centers are different. One belongs to Audi, second belongs to BMW. Okay, sorry, company code is different. Let me change the company code to XYIN. So this GL account, credit, debit, BMW and Audi.
From you took
Okay.
same GL account.
Yeah, GL account can be same. There is no problem in GL account. GL account can be same, can be different. It doesn't matter. What matters is this cost center, profit center, business area, and segment.
Okay.
Right. So currently, what is happening for this particular BMW cost center? It is only credit. For Audi, it is only debit. So if I go to the normal simulate, it will just show me as it is. Okay, you can see one is getting credited, one is getting debited. But as I told you, if I want to make a zero balance at the BMW and audit level, then what I want is I want another GL account to make it zero. So if I go to document and simulate general ledger, you can see zero balance clearing account is coming automatically, which is making sure that Audi is debited by default and credited based on the zero balance. Similarly, BMW, which is getting credited, is getting debited with zero balance. So ultimately, if I ask you BMW balance after this transaction is zero, Audi balance after this transaction is also zero, which means I can easily generate my balance sheet at BMW and Audi level. Okay, so if you save this, system will generate accounting document. Again, if you look at the normal accounting document, it will just show you 2 lines. But when you click on the general ledger view, it will show you 4 lines, including the zero balance account. Is it clear now? What are the 3 different types of document splittings?
Yes.
Okay, so normally this much information on document splitting is enough. If you are a beginner, nobody expects you to know more than this in document splitting, but I'm just adding few more points. If you are able to catch that, fine. If you are not able to catch that, maybe when you receive that requirement, you will be able to perform that. So I'm just giving you the high level overview of some configuration which may be required if you want to configure document splitting for the advanced scenarios. Basic scenarios, what we normally use on day-to-day basis, 95% of the time, that will get resolved with this basic configuration itself.
Vikram, can you just brief zero balancing again?
Yeah. So zero balancing is, see, if you want to generate a balance sheet at a particular level, for example, you want to generate a balance sheet for BMW. Now tell me,
Level
can you
we
generate
have,
a,
level,
yeah,
sorry, level we have business area level, profit center level, and the segment level, right?
any level, any level. So I'm just giving you the example of profit center here. It can be any level.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are generating a balance sheet at, let's say, profit center, BMW, segment, cars, business area or location, Pune. So is it okay if you just post the debit and don't post the credit line item? It is
No.
not possible, right? That is the basic of double entry system. If you want to generate a balance sheet, there has to be two lines, at least two lines, one for debit, one for credit. But when we are doing these transactions where we are crediting one profit center, debiting another profit center, then we will not be able to generate the balance sheet because only one line, one leg is coming into the BMW, one leg is coming into the Pune business area, only one leg is coming into the particular segment. So we want to bring another leg without which you will not be able to generate the balance sheet. How will you bring the other leg? So other leg can be configured using zero balance account. So the purpose of zero balance account is making sure that if there is only one leg in the normal posting, it will bring the another leg so that debit and credit is matching for that particular business area or profit center or segment so that the balance is zero and you can draw the balance sheet.
We use zero balancing where we don't have the other leg, is it?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
You are not using manually. That is told to the system. System automatically brings that line item.
Okay, so when we post, I think we will be having all the like all the legs, right? It is. I did not see any scenario where we are having only one leg.
I just now showed you. This is a very basic scenario. Is it not possible that you are transferring the cost from one cost center to another cost center?
Yes, possible. Possible.
So this is a scenario where you have only one leg for BMW, only one leg for Audi. So in this kind of scenarios where in the normal posting there is only one leg, in order to bring another leg, you are using zero balancing account.
Okay.
Yes. So
Vikram, I have
normally,
a question.
yes, go ahead.
Yeah, how the transaction is going to be determined that this is a ZBA clearing transaction?
If the balance is not zero, simple. When you are posting the transaction, you are telling the system that Audi please debit 100, BMW please credit 100. System knows that it is not matching, the balance is not zero. Whenever a system identifies that the balance is not zero, it will bring the zero balance account.
Yeah, but
The
the
zero
suppose,
balance in that particular department is not happening. That is why this different two different account has to be brought in.
Right. Yes, Bhavan, you are asking something?
yeah, suppose if the Audi is debited and the BMW is credited, okay, it's have a this one is debit and one is credited, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in the cost center.
Mm-hmm.
And then ZBA clearing, it means zero balance clearing is taking place in that transactions. Then how it is to be corrected? This is my actually this one. Actually, I'm
No, I'm
clear
not
about
getting your
this, but
question. I'm not getting your question. Can you tell me once again what is your scenario? You are saying this is not your scenario.
yeah, actually, see, this one only the scenarios. Okay, one
Mm-hmm.
is Audi is debited and the BMW is credited. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's having a two effects. But how can we determine that zero balance clearing is assigned to the particular transactions? Means that should be a zero.
Okay, you are saying how? So that is document splitting configuration. If you want to generate a balance sheet, when you are setting up this, when you are telling the system that I want to generate a balance sheet at a profit center or this level, here there is an option zero balance. We are telling the system that we want to make sure that at profit center and segment level, we always want a zero balance.
Okay, so
If the
it means
balance is
that
not
there.
zero, when we are posting the transaction and if at the transaction level the profit center balance is not zero or the segment balance is not zero, system will verify whether the zero balance is required or not. If required, then system will go to this configuration where it will find how to make the balance zero, using which GL account you want to make the balance as zero. So
Okay.
here we
It means
specify
that
that this
for
is
a
a GL account.
okay, it means that every transaction is not a zero balance clearing.
No, if you are already providing the zero balance in your transaction itself, then the system will not determine the zero balance. Then the system will not bring this GL account. This GL account will only come into picture when in your normal transaction, the balance is not zero for a profit center or for a segment.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So I was just showing you the same configurations. Let me just show you the configurations once again. The first thing that you need to do for document splitting is each and every GL account should be properly classified. Okay, so again, we have took the shortcuts here, but normally when you are working in a company, you have to identify which GL account and you have to map to the proper balance sheet or whatever categories are available. So all your bank accounts will come in this one. All your APGL accounts will come as this vendor. All your ARGL accounts will come as customers, right? All your expense GL accounts will come under expense. All your revenue GL accounts will come under revenue. Similarly, all your fixed assets will come under fixed assets. All your material GL accounts will come under material, right? So you have to properly assign the account assignment category here. For each and every GL account, the category should appear. If there is any GL account for which there is no category, system will give you error. System will tell you the GL account is not assigned to the item category, right? So that is the first configuration. So whenever you are creating a new GL, you have to verify that for that GL, the account category is available or not. Okay, and that is the reason normally we give the range. We don't give one by one GL account. If you give one by one GL account, what will happen? Every time when the user creates a new GL account, you have to come here and you have to assign to the category. Okay, that is the reason it is better to provide the complete range. So even if a user creates a new GL, it is already in the range, right? This is the first setting. And second important setting which you need to ensure is document type. Okay, which means if you go to extended document splitting, here you have defined document splitting, I think rules. Let's see. Method is one. Method by default, the method which we activate is 12. Okay, that is by default. So you don't need to worry about this particular setting. In the rule, even this is not important to you. I want to show you the document type. This one, I think, assign the document. No, even not this one. Extended document splitting. Let's go down. And define business transaction variants. All these are standard settings. We normally don't need to change this. I think they provided it here. Earlier it was available here. So this configuration I'm talking about, classify the document type for document splitting. So you can see each and every document type is having the standard settings for document splitting. So for example, tomorrow if you create a new document type, maybe the requirement is you want to create a new document type. Very important is for that document type, you have to come here and you have to assign this variant. So normally what we do, if you are creating a document type for AP, okay, SAP has already provided KR, but your customer is saying, no, KR is not enough. I want two separate document types for domestic invoices and foreign invoices, or internal invoices for external invoices. So in that case, what you will do is instead of creating everything from scratch, you will copy it. You will copy the settings from KR, okay, and provide it to the new document type that whatever you are creating. So you just need to remember these two things. Number one, for each and every GL account, you need to assign the category, and for each and every document type. So for standard document types, you don't need to worry. Standard document types are already assigned to the parameters what are required for document splitting. But whenever you are creating a new document type, if that document type is not coming here, then you will not be able to use it in your, you will get an error. For that document type, when you try to post a document, you will get an error. What you need to do is you need to copy the settings for the document type that you are creating, and you have to provide that settings. For example, if I create K1 by copying KR document type, I need to come here and I need to maintain the settings for K1, same settings as it is settings will be required as it is there for KR. These are the two things which normally we use. Again, 98-99% of the time customers will go ahead with the standard document types, but there are some scenarios where they will say we want to create a new document type. And remember one thing, whenever you are creating a new document type, you need to come here and ensure that that document type is properly assigned to this variants. For example, you can see someone has created this R2. This is not a standard document type. Someone has just created for extension ledger, and these settings are missing. So what will happen, whenever this user will try to post using this document type R2, definitely the error will come that settings are not maintained for document splitting. Okay, and the error will not allow you to go ahead. So only thing is you need to come here, you need to assign this transaction and variant based on what is the nature of this transaction. So for example, if this transaction is same as KR, which is vendor invoice, you will copy the same 0300 and 0001 here. If it is not vendor invoice, if this is created for a customer invoice, in that case you will copy the settings from DR. Okay, you can see copy the settings from DR and enter those settings here. What is this 020? This is again very simple to understand. The nature of the transaction. So 0200 is customer invoice, 0300 is vendor invoice. Okay, if you see 1000 is for making the payments, 2000 is for secondary postings in CO. So accordingly you have to enter the transaction. Variant by default is one only, 0001. So any new document type you are creating, your variant will remain same, 0001. Okay, so any questions on document splitting now? Just remember, document splitting allows you to generate a balance sheet at profit center, segment, or business area level. It is not necessary to activate document splitting. Document splitting is activated only when if a customer wants a balance sheet at profit center, segment, or business area. So it can be combination. One customer will say, I only want at profit center level. Second customer say, I need only for segment level. Third customer can say, I want only at the business area level. Fourth customer say, I want at all the three levels. So depending on what are the different characteristics at which the document splitting is required, I told you this is a screen where you can tell the system for which characteristics you want to activate document splitting. Now, once you activate document splitting, there are three steps into it. Number one is active document splitting, which is applicable at the time of invoice creation. Passive document splitting, normally applicable at the time of payment. And third one is zero balancing, when you are posting the transaction by crediting or debiting a particular characteristics without providing the second leg. System will automatically determine the zero balance clearing account. And normally in the project, what are the additional configurations required? Whenever you create a new GL, you have to specify the category. Whenever you create a new document type, you have to provide the configurations. That's it. Okay,
Vikram, one
so
question here.
yeah, just 1 minute. I was just showing you where you can specify at what level you want to activate the document splitting. So define document splitting characteristics for general ledger accounting. This is where you will be telling the system there are three options available. You can activate at business area level, you can activate at profit center, and you can activate at segment level. Okay, if you make this field as mandatory, then system will not allow you to post any transaction without profit center. In each and every transaction, profit center would be mandatory field. It is just to control the field. Similarly, if you want segment as mandatory field in each and every transaction, without which the system will not allow you to post any transaction, you can go with the segment as a mandatory field. And zero balance, I already explained you.
So if cost
Yes.
related posting also, then also it will ask for the profit center, is it? If we are checking this checkbox.
See, cost related means what? Cost, definitely cost will have the
If
profit
we
center.
are,
Cost and revenue.
yeah, if we
Cost
are
and
posting
revenue
any
both will have profit center.
expenses.
Yes,
Yeah,
when you are
okay.
posting the expense, you are specifying the cost center, and based on the cost center, system will determine the profit center.
Okay.
Same transaction we have done in AP also. What first transaction we done FB60, we provided the expense GL account with the cost center. Based on the cost center, system determined the profit center and segment. Okay, any questions?
Yeah. So when we are like activating document splitting, we need to configure all the things, active, passive and the zero balancing, is it?
So you don't need to configure anything. As I told you, see, we are not saying active, passive. We are not telling the system for active, passive. Max to max, we are telling the system the zero balance clearing account. When you activate
Okay,
document
Baba.
splitting, you don't need to activate one by one. Automatically, all these things are active. So for active document splitting, we have not done any configuration. For passive document splitting, we have not done any configuration. For zero balancing, yes, we have to create a GL account and we have to assign that GL account in the zero balance. Whatever configurations are provided by default in SAP, those are provided for active document splitting. So active document splitting works with the default configuration, whatever is available. We only need to come into the picture whenever there is a new document type created, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now let's go to the next one. There are only few topics remaining now. So number one is what we will start with today is validations and substitutions.
So no question in certification exam from the document splitting.
Normally not. Maybe one or two questions you can expect. Maybe they will ask you the difference between active, passive. They will give the example that you are posting a payment transaction at the time of payment, system is automatically determining or splitting the bank GL account. What kind of document splitting is this? Those kind of questions can be asked. They will not ask you any configuration related. They will ask you the questions on the concepts related document splitting.
So passive will come when we are having both of the leg, and zero balancing will come when we have the one leg.
Right. Yes. Okay. Now coming to validations and substitutions. Any idea what do you mean by validations? And what do you mean by substitutions?
These are some conditions which we define in the system.
Based on what? Like what will be the behavior? Okay, let me give the example. See, there are already a lot of validations in the system. For example, if I try to post a transaction, if I'm posting the transaction using FB60, right? I'm entering the vendor, I'm removing this and I'm using some number, 54, for example. Okay, and pressing enter. System is asking me to enter the date. I'm entering the date, let's say 0505 or 1505 or 1513, 13 month, 2021. I'm getting an error, invalid date. Why invalid date? Because system is performing the validation. System knows what is valid, what is not valid, right? So I'm changing this, making it whatever it is, 05/2021, pressing enter. Again, system is giving me error that the reference field is mandatory. Why system is giving me this error? Because system is validating. System is going to the document type KR. In the KR document type, we are told the reference field is mandatory. So system is again validating whether the information that we have entered is correct or not. So I will enter test. Again, system is validating. System is checking this is not a default vendor. This is not a vendor which is created in your company code. This is also the validation. So there are many validations which will automatically take place in SAP system. These are system defaulted validations. System will not allow you to enter the wrong vendor. System will not allow you to enter the wrong invoice date. System will not allow you to enter the wrong GL. System will not allow you to go ahead with the transaction without providing the mandatory fields. These are all the validations which are already there in the system. Now, in addition to the validations which are provided by SAP, if you want to create your own validation, okay, which is not provided by SAP, if a customer says I want a particular field as mandatory, which you cannot control from let's say from the system point of view. Or if a customer says a new requirement which is not possible in the standard SAP, what we can do is we can write our own validation rules. Okay, I'll give the example. First of all, I will rectify this, whatever was the original value I'm entering. So this was our vendor. Now there is no control on invoice date and posting date. Okay, I'm just taking one example. Invoice date and posting date, I can enter any date as invoice date, I can enter any date as posting date. Okay, as long as my posting period is closed, system will not give me any error message. But if a customer says my invoice date should be always lesser than the posting date. Currently, if I change my invoice date to 17th and my posting date is 15th, system will not give me any error. Maybe it is just giving me the warning message that document date is in the future. It is just saying in the future. It is not comparing with the posting date. So even if I write my posting date as 17, still the system will give the same error, even though my invoice date and posting date are same. So the requirement is my invoice date should not be more than the posting date. Now this requirement, there is no standard rule in SAP where you can ensure that this requirement is sufficed. All right. So if those are the requirements which are not provided by SAP, we can create our own validations. Okay. So SAP has provided a tool which allows you to write your own validations. So for normally the validations, there is a transaction code GBB0. Transaction code GBB0. No, just 1 minute. GBB1 or it is GGB0. Yeah, it is GGB0, not GBB. It is GGB0 for validations. Here you can see there are different applications. So for example, if someone wants to write this is not our asset accounting. This is the asset accounting which is part of investment management. So if someone wants to write a substitution at funds management, public sector, these are all different modules in SAP. PS module, real estate module, warranty module. In our case, we will be writing the substitution in financial accounting, right? Our module is financial accounting. Open this. Now you can write the substitution at the document header level. You can write the substitution at the line item level, or you can write the substitution at the complete document level. Okay. In our example, where are we writing the substitution? We are comparing two fields. Where are those two fields? This is my header, this is my line. What would be our validation? At what level? At the header level, right? This is a header. We want to write a validation at the header level. So I have to select header, document header, open it. Now there are already some substitutions which are already written. You can see someone has already written some substitution. Just to avoid the confusion, I am going to delete this substitution which is written by someone else. Otherwise, this substitution can create a problem in our scenario.
Sorry to interrupt you. We are going for the validation or substitution? I'm not understanding the difference.
Validation. Currently, I'm only talking about validation. I'm not talking about substitution.
Both are different, right?
Both are different. I'm talking about validation as of now. Substitution is separate topic. We'll come to that. Okay. So I am creating the validation. There is already one validation which is available. I want to remove this. I don't want to use this. I want to remove because unnecessarily it will create a confusion. So delete the validation. What message we are getting? Financial accounting, yes. No additional information. Okay, maybe what I will do, if it is not allowing me to delete this, I will change it to suit my requirements. Step 1, at least if it allows me to delete, yes. Okay, so class 1, I'm just using the same validation, class 1, but I'm changing it to suit my requirement. What is my validation? Document date should be less than posting date. Okay, you have to provide the validation name. Okay, this will come automatically because you have selected financial accounting, and within financial accounting you have selected document header. Now in this one, as of now, there are no steps. So for each and every validation that you want to write, you have to create a step. Okay, I'll tell you what is a step. So when you click on step is divided into 3 parts: prerequisite, check, message. Okay, so prerequisite means when this validation should be called. Do you want this validation to call in all the transactions, AP, AR, GL, everything? Or you want to call this only for transaction FB60 or whenever a document type is KR? That we can write in the prerequisite. Check. Check means what we want to check. We want to check whether the document date is less than posting date or not. So that you have to write it here. And third is, if this is false, if document date is not lesser than posting date, then what error message you want to show? That is called as message. Okay, so let's take an example. I'm creating a new prerequisite. I'll double click on the prerequisite. Let's assume my prerequisite is transaction code FB60. I want this particular validation to come into place only when the transaction code is FB60. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to double click on this ABAP system fields for transaction code. Double click, you'll be able to see the transaction code. Double click on transaction code, it will appear here. My requirement is transaction code is equal to constant. What is constant? FB60. So I'm telling the system my prerequisite is I want this validation to come into place only when my transaction code is FB60. Okay, this is my prerequisite. What I want to check, what I need to check, I need to verify document date should be less than or equal to posting date. So document date, posting date are all part of the document header. So double click on document header. You'll be able to see all the fields in the document header. So I want document date. You can see this document date, double click, should be less than or equal to what? Less than or equal to posting date. If this is true, system will allow you without any problem. System will not give you any error. If document date is less than or equal to posting date, system will not throw any error. Only when this condition is false, then it will go to the message. And in the message, it is asking you whether you want to give the warning message or the error message. Okay, so cancel, which means system will not allow you to go ahead. It will just come out of that particular transaction. Error means it will give you the red message. It will not allow you to go further till the time you don't change the dates. Warning message, it will just give you the warning message and it will allow you to go further. And information message, again, just like warning, it will just inform you that there is document date is more than posting date, but still it will allow you to go ahead. So in my case, I want to go with the error message. Okay, and what message I want to show? So what you can do is you can click on this button. Okay, it will take you to different messages that we have in SAP. You can see these are all the messages which are by default available. What you can simply do is go to the last one, or maybe whatever is blank. So currently nothing is maintained here. So what I'll do, please enter document date less or equal to posting date. So this message I want to show in the system whenever someone is trying to enter the document date more than posting date. Okay, I'll go back. I will save this first. So you can see this number 17. User Vikram is not involved in the request. So maybe I'll create a new request if that is the case. This is for validation. Save. Okay, so message number 17 I'll be using and I will assign here.
So
Message
wherever we
number
have
17.
space.
Yes, wherever you have the blank, you can use that, or you can go to the last one and create a new one. Okay, so 17, message number 17. Just save it. So now system knows, oh, there is something wrong. Why it is showing dump? If, okay, let's try once again. So ggb0/n. Let's see if it is saved. Financial accounting, document header, step. Yeah, it is saved already. I don't know why it was throwing error. Transaction code FB60 correct. Check is no, this is not our, this is the one which was already created, but I can change it. Either I can change it or I create it. I will try first I will try to create a new one. If it is not allowing, maybe in this system there is something wrong. In that case, I will just make the changes to the existing one. I will make it suitable for our requirement. So first I am trying to delete it. Yes. And then I will create a new step. I'll go to the prerequisites. First of all, you want to give any description to the step, you can give. If you want to give the description to the class also, you can give. This is wrong. So let's say this is document date less than equal to posting date. Let's go to the prerequisite. My prerequisite is transaction code FB60. I don't want this validation to come in any other transaction. So FB60. Okay. Check. What I want to check is document date should be lesser or equal to, document date should be less than or equal to posting date. Okay, and what message I want to give? I think message is already saved. Let's see, message number 17. Yes, so I'm selecting this and let's try to save. No, something is wrong. So let's try to do one thing. Instead of creating new, I will just make the changes to the existing one. So financial accounting, document header, class 1. In the step itself, what I'll do, first of all, I'll change the description of this. This is my description. I'll go to prerequisites. Prerequisite is okay for me. I want the same prerequisite. Check what I want is, I want to remove this. So you can delete. If you want to delete everything, select your cursor here and delete. Okay, everything is deleted now. My requirement is document date should be less than or equal to posting date. And my message is error with message number 17. I hope this should work. Perfect. Okay, so validation has been created. The prerequisite is transaction code FB60. My check is document date should be less than equal to posting date. If not, then give this message, please enter the document date less or equal to posting date. Now once you create a validation, our validation is this class 1. Once you create a validation, you have to activate this validation also. So you have to check whether for our company code this validation is activated or not. So for validation, you will go to transaction, I think OB28. Let's see. Yes, you can see validation for accounting documents. As of now, this is only valid for this company code. I'll click on new entry. Our company code is XYIN. Call point is at the time of header. It will tell you the options, whether it is a header related, line related, or complete document related. It is header related. And which validation? It will give the list, this validation. Activation level, whether it is active or inactive.
We lost your voice.
Hello.
Sir, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, there was some disconnection I seen. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm activating this validation for our company code. Company code XYIN and activation level 1 means active. Okay. Now is it clear? Voice is clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so once you activate this, now if you go and try to post a transaction, if you go to transaction FB60, okay, the prerequisite is met. System will check whether my document date is lesser than posting date. So let's assume my document date is 17/05/2021, which means it will fail, right? If I press enter here itself, I should get a error message. Okay, first of all, the system checks are performed. Can you see this message? Please enter the document date less or equal to posting date. Is it a standard system behavior? Will system stop you if document
No,
date is more than posting date?
it is information, right? We have created as a error. It should come in the red alphabet.
Let's try. Let's try. Click on continue. Let's try to proceed. Is it allowing you to proceed? Can you go ahead? Let's try. Let's try to save. Is it allowing you to proceed? How can I save this?
Yes.
It's not allowing.
Right.
It
So
is
forget about.
S/4HANA behavior or what? It should come in the red line in the down, right?
No. Red line comes only for the standard system messages. This is not a standard system message. This is something which you have changed the behavior of the system, right?
Okay. So whenever we are creating the new validation, we have to just make one new step. It should be in class 1 only, or we can create the new class also.
No. Normally, all the validations will come under one validation. You can create multiple steps. Okay, just for example, one step we have created at the header level now, right? We have created the one step at the header level, which is for document type. Let's go to the next one now. I think I closed. Let's go to transaction GGB0. Okay, let's say I want to add another validation. Okay, but this time I can say I want to add a validation at the line level. If you want to add at the line level, you have to create a second validation. But if you want to add additional validation at the document header level itself, then instead of creating a new validation, you can add as a step 2. So for example, let me show you. I'll add step number 2. Okay, what is step number 2? My step number 1 was document date less than posting date. Now my second validation which I want is document type. Document type should be KR
I think
only.
you need to click on step 2 only. See, this is step 1 validation step 0.
No. Whenever you create a step, by default, system will create a first step. The step that you already created becomes 2. That is not a problem.
Okay.
Right now, if you go to prerequisites, again my prerequisites are same. So my prerequisite is FB60, transaction code equal to FB60. So I can say constant FB60. What I want to check this time is, my check is different. I want to check if my document type is KR or not. If it is not, throw the error. So document type equal to KR. Okay, if you want multiple, so you can say document type KR or document type KZ. Okay, if you want to add multiple here, just I'm showing you what are the different options. KZ. So only if you are using transaction code FB60, system will only allow you document type KR or document type KZ. If not, If not, you want the system to give the, let's say this time I want to give the warning message. I don't want to give the error. I want to go ahead, just the warning message. So again, I'll go to message class to create a new message. This is locked. I think I already opened it, maybe in another screen. Or maybe you are using this. Anyone from you, please come out. If anyone is using. Anyone from you or not?
No, sir, not us.
Let's see if it is showing the name who is using this. Object is component. It is from my side itself. So maybe I need to log off and log in once again. But anyways, what I'll do is I will use the message which is already created. I'll use the same message just for example's sake, or maybe let's see document type not allowed, which is matching with my requirement. Okay, just for example, 01 and save it. Right now I have two steps. I don't need to activate because this validation is already active. Now both the steps will be performed, which means if I try to create a vendor invoice, let me go to transaction FB60. I enter the vendor. This time I am entering the proper date so that my first message error should not come. And in order to change the document type, I need to go to editing options and I will say document type ready for input so that I can change and see the behavior. Okay, so now here I know system only allows KR and KZ. What I'll do is I will use maybe DR. Okay, can you see this message? Document type not allowed, possible values could be G or L. It is just a warning message. If I press enter, that warning message will go away and I'll be able to perform the transaction. Right, you got your answer? So this way
Vikram,
you can create the validations. Yes.
one question here. See, all validation related to header level, we are writing in one class. Okay. So if there is a situation, we suppose we have created some 50 validation, so 10 validation we don't want to use now time being. Okay. So is there any block? Is there any way to block those particular validation? Because we are just activating the class one, right? For the company code. So suppose if
So you
50
have to, if
validation there,
you
all will apply.
see, if you are creating one validation and you are creating 50 steps into it, right? In that case, all the 50 steps will be active as long as you are activating that validation for your company code.
Yes.
Now, as you said, due to some reason, if you want not to use the out of 50, let's say 2 you don't want to use, the only option is you have to remove those steps from there, from the validation. Yes.
There is no way so we can block it, right?
No, you cannot block it. Blocking validation is possible. You can inactive the validation, but within the validation, the steps you cannot block. All the steps will be performed.
Okay, so in this situation, we have an option to create the next validation also for the
Yes,
header
in
level.
that case, yeah, in that case, if you want the different behavior, you have to create multiple validations.
We'll be activating at company code level.
Validations are always activated at the company code level, yes. Okay, now same way, I will just show you one last validation. I've shown you at the header level. Let me now show you at the complete document level. So for example, if I want to tell the system that if my document type is KR, this GL account should not be used, just for example, or maybe what other scenarios comes to your mind? Yeah, let's keep it simple. So if I want to tell the system that for document type KR, this GL is not allowed. Okay, so this is called as a complete document level because you are mixing header as well as line in your validation. So for that, again, I'll go to the validation. but this time it is not a header level validation, it is a complete document level validation. So I'll click on this. As of now, there is no step created, so I'll create a new validation. Okay, whatever class you have to provide. Why it is asking for class? Message class. Just 1 minute. Normally this is not required. So complete document, I'm creating a new validation. Let's go ahead without the class. No, it is message class. I think something is missing in the system. New validation. Message class is not maintained. Normally we don't enter any message class, it comes by default.
If we click
let's
on
see what
rules
is,
and we create the new validation, then
let's see what are rules. It is still asking the same thing. No, rule is not required normally. So complete document validation. Okay, let's select the message class. It is just asking which message class will be applicable. I can use any message class, that is not a problem. Maybe I can use the same message class which is available here for the document header level. Let's see which message class is active here. Message class, I think this one. This is a message ID. I will just copy this. Normally this is assigned by default by the technical team, but it seems it is not available here. Okay, so I'm just assigning the same message class. In the message class, you have all different messages, okay, which you want to select. For example, in our case, we selected 17. That was part of this message class. So now this validation, this is for GL account. I'm just giving anything, whatever is your requirement, you have to enter it here. Okay, this is fine. Just click on step. So within step, this is GL restricted, I'll say. What is my prerequisite? Again, my prerequisite is my transaction code is FB60. Okay, I can say my transaction code is FB60 and my document type is KR. I can combine multiple conditions here, and my what is that? If you want to come back to the older screen, because this is showing you what? This is showing you system fields. So click on back. It will take you to the header. From header, what I want is document type. So this step will only get performed if my transaction code is FB60 and my document type is, let's say, KR. What I want to check? I want to check a particular GL. So check. The check that I want to perform is a segment line level. I want to check that the GL, can you see the GL here? Either GL or account, group account number, company code. Here is the GL account. GL offsetting account is different. Yeah, GL account. You can see this. So if I want to tell the system, no, this field is not editable.
there is only some field or what where we can perform the validation.
Yes, just 1 minute. I'll tell you. First of all, let me select where is my GL account number. It should be here. Counter order clearing fiscal year. If you want, even you can change it to the technical name also. So technical names means it will tell you the table names. So normally it is HCount. GL account is HCount.
Just search by search.
Yeah, you can search also, but I'm just showing you hcont in the this one. So gcont gh, right? After gh will come. This is a field. Why it is saying it cannot be selected? You cannot select the element here. Why? It is allowing you to select this field, but it is not allowing you to select this one. Let me see why. So let me delete this first. hcont. Let's see in the question mark what it says. You have attempted to select a operand that is not allowed from the syntax. Only operands that are shown highlighted may be selected at this point. Why? This should not be the case. GL amount. GL account, SAKNR. So maybe the scenario that I took is very extreme scenario. Normally that is not required, but let's see for another scenario, which is normally used in the industry. So let's say text field, I want to keep it mandatory. Let's see if the text field is allowing here. Amount posted, clearing item, counter, clearing fiscal year, amount, sender item. Where is text?
Assignment field we can take. Assignment was highlighted.
Yeah, assignment also we should take. Although these fields we can control normally from the normal validation itself at the GL level. But just for, have I selected this properly? Let me go back. Document header segment, yes, table B seg, this is correct. So let's search for assignment. It is there, but it is also not highlighted. Maybe this is actually technical issue. Since there was no message class also assigned, some of the fields are not active here. Normally these fields are active. Whichever field you want to use, you can activate those fields. These are the main fields: GL, assignment number, and all. So as of now, I'm just selecting whatever is available. But normally, if you see in your other system, most of these fields are blue, which means you can take any field. So as of now, which field I can take?
This type of restriction was there in ECC?
No. Here also in S4 also you don't have restrictions. That same thing I'm saying you. It is not restriction. It is about activating some features from the technical point of view. Some note maybe need to applied in order to make these fields active.
So in this type of case, whom we should connect? Technical ABAP team.
Yes.
This.
Right. It is even not allowing a single field. These are all the fields which I'm able to see. These are all header level fields. Period, document, item, credit control amount. These are not the fields that we normally enter. Dunning level, quantity. We don't need quantity at all. New price. All these fields are irrelevant to us. Okay, just for example, personal number. This is HR related field. I want personal number as mandatory. Whenever I am using this document type, I want personal number as mandatory. So I'm telling the system personal number is not equal to this means not equal to blank. Okay, which means if it is blank, it will fail, and if it is fail, it will go to the message. So in the message, again, I have to select the message number. Let's see this time if I'm able to open. I'm still not able to open. So let's see if the message number which I can use, personal number is mandatory. Is there any such message available here? Personal number means employee number. Let me do one thing. Let me log off and log in once again since it is blocking. Let's see if it works after that. So system log off and login. Okay, so GGB0, I am creating the financial accounting substitution for complete document, a new one, new validation. Validation name is GL, and within this I'm creating a step restricted GLs or whatever you want. So in our case now it is not restricted GL, this is personal number mandatory. Okay, whatever logical name you have to provide, whatever validation you are writing. So prerequisite, as I told you, is transaction code equal to FB60 constant FB60 and document type, which is in header, document type equal to KR. Okay, this is my prerequisite. What system will check? System will check if personal number PERNR, PERNR, yeah, this field should not be blank, constant and just blank. So should not be blank. Then I want a message. What message? Let's see. It is still showing object component locked. Why it got locked? Who locked it? It is still showing my name. No, it is with S user 36. Who is this S user 36? Let's try to remove. It's not removing anything, not blocking anything actually. One object in another component request. This is related to this request. What are the options? You can combine both request and then repeat. You can first release request. Okay, let me release this request first of all. There are already some partial completed things in the system. That is the reason it is giving error. So I'll just release this request. Release. Let's see now. Yes. So messages. Let's see which is free. This is free. Please enter personal number. Okay, so this is the message that I want to generate. Okay, let's go back and assign this number. Please enter personal number. Okay, and save it. Character incorrectly positioned. Okay, let's go to check. No, this looks fine. What is this? Personnel number is not equal to constant and blank. Save. It is giving some error. So let me take it in another way. Personal number equal to blank. How will you write? Oh, sorry. Equal to, let me just try this. So from cursor is not equal to 1, just for example sake. Then it will generate an error message. Yeah, this is the reason, because personal number has some proper coding. That is the reason it was throwing error. Let's try now. Save. So we are saying if the personal number, just for example sake, if the personal number is not this, then the system will throw error. Okay, so now if I activate this particular validation, okay, which is related to, let's say, personal number. Okay, so this GL. So again, I need to go to transaction OB28 and I need to activate this for my company code. So OB28, okay, new entry, XYIN, company code, call point. This time, this is for the complete document, right? Complete document, which validation? If you do F4, it will show you the list of validations. So this is a validation that we have activated, and activation level will be 1 for active. So if you see F4, 1 is active, 0 is inactive, and save it. Okay, now if you go to transaction, let's see. If I don't enter the personal number, if it is blank, it will throw error. So number 1, my transaction code is FB60. Number 2, my document type is KR. So prerequisite is matching. Now system will check if my personal number has a value. Okay, and that too, if it is 1, it will not give any error. If there is anything other than 1, it will throw, I think we provided the error message. Please enter the personal number, right? So I'll enter cost center, press enter. Let's try to save it. It worked without any problem. So let me do one thing. Let me log off and log in order to take impact. So let me,
Can we check in 1909 if you, I think you have one more system
for what?
For this particular complete document validation, because it is like some configuration is missing, right?
No, but
Message
ultimately we are
class.
able to post, no? Message class we have activated, na? That is anyways not our task, but we have
You are
activated
not
now.
giving personal number, no?
Just 1 minute, just 1 minute. So 1000, and then cost center, and let's try to post. Okay, it is getting posted. Let me go to OB28 and see what is the error. OB28 XYIN GL is active. This personal number is active. Okay, and what is our validation? So GGB0, financial accounting, complete document, GL, step. So we are saying personal number not equal to 1. Oh, this is the error, na? We are saying personal number not equal to 1. So it is true. Personal number is not equal to 1. That is the reason it is not generating any message. The message will only come when this condition is false. Currently, this condition is true, right? So what we need to do is, instead of not equal to, we need to enter equal to. Personal number equal to constant. Let's enter 1. Now, since we are not entering 1, it will be false and it will generate a message. Okay, let's try. So save and let's start a new transaction, FB60. So this vendor, this invoice, whatever you want to enter in the reference, GL account and cost center. Okay, let's try to save. Exactly. Can you see this message? You got the point now? What is validation?
Yes.
You can write a validation at 3 levels. Now, what are the questions which are asked in the interviews? What are the questions which are asked in the certification exam? Number 1, there are 3 types of validations, or there are 3 level of validations. What are those? Number 1, document header level. Number 2, line level. Number 3, entire document level. Header, line, and complete document. These are the 3 levels. What are the different steps in the validation? There are 3 steps. Number 1, prerequisite. Number 2, check. Number 3, if the check fails, if the check is false, please remember this question comes as a true and false. When the check fails, the message is triggered, true or false. Or the message, when the check is true, the message will trigger, that is false. The message will come only when the check fails. So there are 3 steps in validation. Number 1, prerequisite. Number 2, check. Number 3, message. So these are the 2-3 questions which are normally part of the certification exam. In the interviews, they can ask you the complete validation process. So you can tell them validation. You need to start like this. There are already some validations which are by default available from SAP. For example, when you try to post the document, when you are entering the wrong date, system will give the error message. When you enter the date where the posting period is closed, there also you get an error message. So these are all the validations which are part of the standard system. In addition to those, if you want to have your own validation, take any example. Let's assume you want to control the document date, posting date. Posting date should be always greater than the document date if that is a requirement from the customer. This requirement is not part of the standard functionality. So in order to map this requirement, we can write our own validation rules. In validation, we need to specify the prerequisite, we need to specify the check, and we need to trigger the message, right? And once you create a validation, the last thing that you need to do is you need to activate that validation for your company code. And last one, there are 3 levels of validation. The validation can be created at the header level, at the line level, and at the complete document level. Okay, that much information is enough.
So
for
Vikram,
validation.
one question here. Sorry to interrupt you. We are like we are suppressing, displaying, and restricting the field, right? On the and with the field status group. So those are also called validation, system validations.
Yes, those are system validations, right?
Okay.
Those are all system validations. Okay. Any questions on validations?
Yes, Vikram, I have a question that personal number 1 we are mentioning in the our criterias. Then that one number where it is to be cross-checking and where we are getting the messages.
So depends, na. In our example, we took the personal number. It can be any other field. So as of now, the check is at the personal number level. That is the reason system is checking that. So for
Yeah.
example, if you go to GL account and here if you enter the personal number, there is a field personal number.
Where?
I'm showing you. You can see this personal number.
Yes, yes, got it.
This will come only in picture when you activate HR module. This personal number is part of HR module. So even if I enter
Yes,
one,
yes.
our validation will work, which means we will not get any
Okay.
error. But because our HR system is not active, definitely it will result in other errors related to HR module. Okay, so for
Yeah,
example, if
that's
I
what I
enter one, it
actually.
will clearly say that one number does not exist, personal number one is invalid. But this is a standard message. Our other message which was coming, that will go away. Our validation is working fine, right?
Yes, yes, yes. That's actually I'm wondering for where is exactly the personal number columns and all. So
Yes.
we
All these
confirm
are
that there is a personal number.
right.
Thank you. Thank
It was just for example, because personal number was allowing us to change. That is the reason we took this. We were trying for GL account, but as we have seen that some of the fields are inactive there. So you need to, in the real time project, you need to go to the basis and ask them why these fields are not allowed to be changed. Maybe some SAP notes need to be implemented, but otherwise you understood the concept of validation.
you. Exactly. Thank you.
We want to see the system validations, SAP given validation, there we can see.
No, no, no. There is no one place for that. Those are all part of the program. Those are all part of the coding which is written by SAP. SAP has not created the validation just like we are creating. They provided us the very good interface through which we can write our own validations, but SAP validations are all through coding. Okay. So now let's talk about the next one, which is substitution. The only difference between validation and substitution is validation just performs the check. If the check is false, it will trigger a message. Substitution, you can tell the system to substitute a value of a particular object. So even if the user is not providing that value, system will automatically substitute that value. Okay, I'll give the example. So let's take again a practical example. I'm posting a transaction, let's say FB50. Okay, and what I want is, even if a user provides any other document date, by default, I want the system to substitute the document date equal to posting date. So document date equal to posting date. Even if I enter 20th, system automatically substitutes to 15th. Okay, or maybe I don't want to provide the header text every time. I want to default it. Paste header text. Okay, for every time whenever I'm posting a document with document type essay, I want my document header text as sample document header text for essay. So if you want to substitute some value, if you want to provide the default values, then only substitution can be used. Okay, let's take example. So currently if I take document date as 19/05/2021, maybe I will get a substitution validation error here. Maybe I have deactivated or something. So my document date, sorry, why I am not getting, can you tell me why I am not getting that error? The validation that we have written, that document date should be less than posting date.
Because document type is not a.
If you remember, the prerequisite was transaction code
Actually,
FB60,
FB50.
we,
FB60.
yes, yes,
Here
transaction
we are
code.
using transaction FB50. So that validation will not take place here. The condition prerequisite is false. Okay, so here my condition is, now I want to write a substitution. Let's say my substitution is only for transaction code FB50. My document date, even if I write anything, it should be automatically substituted to 15th or whatever is the posting date. Right? That is my requirement. So for substitutions, you will use transaction GGB1. For this one, we have used GGB0. For substitution, it is GGB1. Okay, substitutions. Again, you can see for financial accounting. Here also you have document header, line item, complete document, and these are old functionalities we are not using anymore. Okay, so again, document header, line item, complete document. Let's say I want to write at the document header level. Again, I think someone has created class 1. So if you want, we can add in this itself. We can change it to our requirements. So this is my document date should be equal to posting date as it is. Okay, and steps, let's go to the steps. Here you can see there are only two steps. There is no check, there is no message. Prerequisite, substitute. So what is my prerequisite? My prerequisite is document type equal to, or maybe transaction code equal to, right? We say transaction code.
Okay.
So system fields, our transaction code equal to constant, which is FB50, right? And what we want to substitute? We want to substitute which field? This field we don't want to substitute, right? If you want document header text to be substituted, you can write it here. I'm deleting this. I don't want document header text. What I want is document date. Again, if you are not able to see that particular field here, you can ask basis, or I can also show you some program is available using which we can add the fields which are not available by default. Okay, normally, but if that is the case, you normally go to basis or ABAP. So let me see, document date is not at all here. Okay, just for example's sake, as of now, I'm taking this document header text itself, but later on I'll see if I can show you how to add the technical field. So what I want a constant value. I want to specify a constant value. There are options also, field to field assignment. So document header text, I want to copy as it is from the posting date. So that is field to field assignment. And third one is exit. When you say exit, it means a complex logic which will be written by ABAP. Okay, there is a complex logic. You cannot write it like constant value and field to field assignment. In that case, you can call the user exit, which is ABAP. Okay, so in my case, it is field to field assignment, which means whatever value is available in a particular field, I want to copy to document header text.
So Vikram, I have question from the
Yeah.
previous pop-up.
Just 1 minute. Let me select this. So BKPF view date, which means document header text will automatically get the value of the posting date. Okay, I want to activate this. Yes, go ahead with your question now.
Can you just show the previous pop-up, previous dialog box?
This one to add the new values?
No, where we got exit and three type of substitution were there, right?
Yeah, so whenever you select any particular line item from here, whenever you say, okay, I want to substitute the value of a particular field. Let's say I want to substitute the value of reference field. Then system will ask you whether reference field will take a constant value, or you want to perform field to field assignment, or you want to write a complex logic using user exit.
Okay, constant value in the sense in this particular
Fixed
field
value.
we are giving the value.
Fixed value.
In this
So
field only, right?
If I say constant, yes. So this is fixed value. So whenever a document will be created with FB50, automatically you will see the reference field is having this value.
And where do we write the exit?
That is ABAP. They have to write a program. You cannot write it here. It has to be written a program, and that program name will be provided. You can enter that name here. You will be selecting the exit from here.
Okay.
See, currently
So
it is field constant value. Similarly, there will be exit. When there is exit, you will do F4 and you will be able to see all the exits which are written by the ABAPer.
Field to field assignment says we want other fields value to pop up to the particular field, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. And in which situation we write the exit?
For the complex logic, for example, there is no one-to-one mapping. Document header text For 10 different scenarios, I want a different text.
Exit in the sense, I just thought previously, which was like wrong. I thought that we are telling to the system to come out from the program and exit
No,
exit
no,
from
no,
the.
no. It is a user exit. Substitution is not to ask the program to come out. That is in the validation.
Okay.
In the validation, if you remember, there was warning, there was error, and there was stop. Stop means come out.
Cancel.
Right. Okay, validation is validate the, sorry, substitution is to substitute the value. We are
Come out in the
substituting.
sense, in validation, the transaction itself will terminate.
Yes, it will not allow you to go further.
Okay.
You have to enter all the
Exit.
values once again.
Okay. Exit, we will be writing like for multiple field, we need to change.
Right. Okay. So now I have written the substitute for two different fields. My document header text will automatically take the value of posting date, and my reference will get a value as fixed. Again, I need to activate the substitution. So for activating the substitution, the transaction code is it OBBH? I think so. Yes. So again, new entry, your company code XYIN. So similar to validation, you have to activate the substitution for your company. This is at the document header level. This substitution and activation level again would be 1 for activating it. So active. Save it. Okay, now you try to post a transaction using transaction FB50. For other transactions, it will not work. FB50, if my document date, if I enter 15/05/2021, okay, reference and document header text I'm keeping blank. Press enter. Can you see these values? This came automatically from the substitution. Okay. 2021 05 YYY DD. Clear on this? What is substitution now? So things to remember in substitution. Number one, there are only two steps in substitutions. Prerequisite, substitute. No message, no check. Prerequisite, substitute directly. In substitution, you get three options: field to field combination, constant, and exit. Right? Now, one another question which is asked in exam as well as interviews is, if I write a substitution and validation both, which will have more priority? Can you tell me what is more powerful, validation or substitution? So for example, I'll give the scenario. Yes, validation is the right answer. If I give the scenario, if I tell the system that my document header text will take the posting date as a field to field mapping, and in the validation I say this value is not allowed, it should throw error when this value is coming in the validation. So obviously validation has more priority, because ultimately first system will perform the substitution. Once the substitution is done, the last step will be validation, and in the validation, if this is not matching the validation criteria, system will not allow you to proceed. So validation is having a more priority than substitution. This question is asked many times in the interviews to confuse you. So just remember this one example, that if I have substituted a value, still the system will perform the validation after that. And in the validation, if that value is not allowed, then system will give a error message or warning message, whatever you configured in your validation. Okay, clear on validations and substitutions?
Yeah, Vikram, I have one question here. So if we want user exit for the complex logic, what the details we need to give to the ABAPer?
That depends, na, what is the requirement? There is no hard and fast rule here. What is the requirement? You have to give the details. If the requirement, need to understand the requirement from the business. Those business requirements you have to give to the ABAP, that based on this fields, I want to populate this value. There can be
And just
n different
to call the
scenarios, right?
function or user exit to our substitution.
Right. So first of all, they have to write the code so that they are able to determine the value for the particular field based on n number of scenarios. And then they will give the user exit that, okay, we have written all the logic in this user exit. Now you can use in your substitution. Got it? Any questions on validations and substitutions?
Vikram, in which
Yeah.
case we can configure as a substitute?
Whenever there is such requirement, wherever a company is saying you, okay, I'll give the practical example. Although these are also practical examples, but normally I'm just talking about the scenario for India. Okay, maybe this is not applicable for all other countries, but just for example, where we normally write a substitution rule. So in India, we have a concept of business place and section code. Okay, this is again relevant to country specific India. Okay, which is related to taxation and GST and all. So normally these two fields are mandatory. Okay, if you are working in an Indian company, normally business place is nothing but your tax registration number, and section code is for your direct taxation, for WHT related, withholding tax related. So normally user will always say, why I need to unnecessarily fill this information? Can't you populate this based on some parameters? For example, if my company code is this, okay, if my company code is this, can I directly populate these values? You can easily populate based on the substitution. The substitution is to reduce the task, reduce the time to enter the transaction. If you already know that every time I need to fill the same value in this particular field, if sometimes my user is mistakenly entered something wrong, unnecessarily it will create a problem. Why not I ask the system to automatically populate this value? So whenever there is a need to automatically populate the value based on a certain logic, you can use a substitution. It can be the constant value, it can be field to field mapping, and normally for this kind of business place and section code, you need a complex logic. You may have n number of tax registration numbers. You may have n number of withholding tax registration numbers. How you want to populate it, that is something which you have to get the idea from the business, and you have to provide it to your ABAP so that this value can be populated, substituted automatically.
Okay, thank you, Vikram.
Okay, so I hope last week I sent you 2-3 videos related to Bank Rico. Have you gone through it?
Yes.
Okay, so I hope, I am 100% sure not all of you must have gone through that video. So please make sure that today you go through it, and tomorrow we will start with that particular topic. But again, I will not take that topic once again because we can concentrate on more important topics. Bank Rico is not part of your certification exam. Nobody is going to ask you any question in the certification exam. As I told you, those are the additional things which may help you in your project. So I need all of you to go through that video and come up with the questions. Tomorrow when we'll start with QA, or maybe we will start with another topic, and then at the end we will have a QA for bank reconciliation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.